Hi everyone, my name's Kate Kalthoff and welcome to a Stamping to Share video. Today I'm going to share this card with you. It's quite elegant, quite classy. I love the mix of white and vanilla in the taupe colors, and it uses a stamp set called Remarkable You. And the stamp set looks like this. It's a 2-case stamp set. It's got some very large images in it, which makes a large impact on your cards. And so we are going to go ahead and get started, and I'll teach you how to do this along with giving you all the measurements. So I'm just going to set this aside for a minute. Here's what the inside looks like. And we are going to start with some very vanilla cardstock. This is cut at 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and then I've scored it at 5 1/2. And the first thing we're going to do is just go ahead and fold along that fold line, along the score line. And I think I will use my bone folder here just to press it down so it doesn't flop around. And then to do the inside panel, we're going to go ahead and stamp that first. So I am going to get a piece of scrap paper here and slip this under. And then I have my Early Espresso ink, and I'm going to ink up this flower. I'm not really quite sure what this flower is, maybe a magnolia. Or a dogwood. I'm not really sure if those are the same thing or different. I don't think we have these flowers in Minnesota, but they're really, really pretty. So here is the sentiment. And we have the inside panel complete. Now the outside panel is a little bit more complicated, but not terribly so. We're going to need a piece of Whisper white paper. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And we are going to run it through the Big Shot machine with our chevron embossing folder. So I've already done that. So we have the chevron image already embossed into this white panel. And then following that chevron theme, we're going to use some chevron ribbon. And I have a strip of it here, and I'm going to just secure that around my card with some Scotch tape. And then the next step is to go ahead and do a little bit of layering with some other papers here. So my next paper layer is a 3 by 5 1/4 inch piece of Early Espresso. And we are going to top that Early Espresso layer with a piece of English Garden Designer Series paper. So our English Garden Designer Series paper is found in our 2015-16 catalog, and it has a lot of designs that you can choose from. Some are feminine and some are less so, a little bit more on the masculine side, or some are just downright elegant. Like I just love this taupe and blue image right here on the front. But for today we're going to use the taupe with the white lines running diagonally through it, and this piece is cut at 2 3/4 by 4 inches. And I'm just going to adhere that with a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue. And then we're just going to set this into that Early Espresso panel. Then we're going to stamp our sentiment down here in the lower right-hand corner. So I'm going to ink that up with Early Espresso ink. I kind of like stamping directly onto Designer Series paper. I just really like the look of it. And so we have our stamping done for here. Then we need a piece of very vanilla scrap paper, and then we're going to ink up that flower image again. And we'll just stamp that right here. If anyone knows what kind of flower this is, I'd truly appreciate a comment. That way I will know in the future. Then what you're going to do is just trim this out with the paper snips. And here it is. I've already trimmed it, as you can see, and I didn't go too close to the flower, left it a little bit loose, and that way it doesn't take terribly long to do. So we are going to adhere that with dimensionals onto our card. So I'm just going to put a few of those on right now. And then as far as this skinny stem here, I think I'll use my paper snips, and I'll just snip off a little bit here and put that onto my stem. In fact, I have to trim that down even more. We have a pretty skinny stem there. So I'll set this in. That'll give a little bit of support along the stem area. And we are also going to be adhering this panel with dimensionals. So let me go ahead and get that prepared. And as you can see, I've placed 4 dimensionals onto that panel. And then we can go ahead and put that right here in the lower right hand part of the card, making sure that we leave the right and the bottom borders about the same. The next embellishment that I'm going to use is some Venetian crochet trim, and I'm just going to trim this off, and I think I'm going to keep this a little bit to the top of that chevron trim. So all I have to do is turn the sides of the ribbon down, and then I'll secure it on the back with some Scotch tape, just like I did with the chevron trim. All right, and this panel is ready to be put onto the front part of our card, so I'm going to do that with some snail, and I'm just going to run that all along the upper portion of the card, the sides of the card, and the base of the card. So once I have all that snail on there, we're just going to flip that around, center that into our card, and give it a good press and a burnish all the way around. And then we are going to just go ahead and we'll put this flower on top. And we'll set this in so that the stem comes down to the right at a little bit of an angle. And that way we have room for a beautiful button over here. The buttons that we're using on this card are the Classy Designer buttons from our 2015-16 catalog. And you can see they just have a nice luster to them. And I've gone ahead and using a little bit of white baker's twine. I've just tied a cute little bow in here. And then we'll put this on with some mini glue dots. I'm just going to grab a mini glue dot and put that right on the back of the button, and then we can place this right here in the corner of our card for a little bit of an elegant touch. And our card is complete, and it's just adorable. I just love it. So here's the one I just did. Here's the one I had done in advance. So I truly appreciate you for stopping by. It makes my heart very glad when you leave comments and let me know how I'm doing. If you need a demonstrator, I'm at www.stampingtoshare.com, where I have links that you can place orders. I truly appreciate you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.